Hello and good day, everyone. My name is Josephine Michele, and I'm from School of Business and Management, Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. Today, I will be presenting about my research towards business feasibility towards an augmented reality technology business, a case study of a business named Interaxe.ID. Here are the table of contents that we're going to talk in this presentation. First is the introduction. Second is methodology. Third is the results for discussion. And fifth is the conclusion. We're going to talk first about the introduction, the industry, AR implementation, and business issue. The first introduction is about COVID-19 changes offline activities into online. Throughout this condition, people's livelihood and their preferences have been affected. Their behavior, trust in buying products, awareness as well as international trade, travel, economic condition, even dressing style have been changed. During this condition, brands must optimize their online experiences and channel mix while finding appealing methods to integrate human touch as online penetration increases and shoppers seek even more sophisticated digital interactions. The second background is about social media as one of the biggest developing platform, especially when COVID-19 increases. Social media has proven to give massive impact to businesses operating in this pandemic situation. With every activities turning online, social media has been the most used platform for people to connect, experience, and interact with businesses and their products. One of the pipelines is social media for people to experience their connections is through AR or augmented reality and through VR or virtual reality. And the third one is AR as a new form to interact during these online days. AR is an enhanced version to a physical world that is achieved using digital visual elements, sounds, or other sensory stimuli delivered via technology. In short, AR is a way for people to experience reality through online platform. It is a growing trend among companies involved in mobile computing and business applications. AR seems to be the next big hype for the IT business nowadays. Therefore, here is the Interaxe. Interaxe is a tech-based business operating within a creative industry, specializing in accessories in fashion industry. They provide a virtual try-on technology in a form of AR for businesses to deploy a new online shopping experience and help customers through a unique experience where they can try accessories virtually before buying the goods. The AR meant to help them visualize the products they wanted to buy, especially on necklace, earrings, bracelets, watches, and earrings. Here's the business issue of Interaxe. The company faced unexpected uncertainty in the business and struggles in creating the AR prototype. The business itself has done dozens of direct email marketing to accessories businesses in Indonesia since the beginning, but unfortunately still did not meet the expectation of the industry and was having no revenue and sales. Also, the company still outsourced freelancer to create the AR, which result to higher cost and not having a team member with programming and design expertise. Therefore, here we're going to discuss about what methodology used in data gathering and data analysis in this research. First, data gathering. This research will look at the financial aspects of one of the Interaxe objective, which is to see the capabilities of Interaxe in hiring expert employees and create portfolios as our way to attract more local businesses, accessories in Indonesia to enhance sales and profit. Also, to receive the closest real number for the projection and assumption, the company did an interview with company competitor, which also releases AR/VR as well. And for the data analysis, we use feasibility elements that include in this research. There are financial statements, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, cost of capital, capital budgeting, internal rate of return, net present value, and payback period. Here are the results of the analysis. We're going to talk about optimistic assumption, base assumption, and pessimistic assumption for the sales of the Interaxe. Base scenario assumption. In this assumption, the researcher will talk about the most possible target that will be achieved by the company in the future. The assumption of the financial condition is based on the team, where in this section, the most likely condition is to hire or have a team member with an AR understandings and ability so that the company will have full authority of the technology that will be generated. Here is the table of how the base assumption generated. First is about the revenue calculation base. We're going to have the data from the interview and competitor revenue projection. And our revenue calculation is based on the revenue of the competitor during pandemic year. Monthly sales growth is determined from benchmarking the sales of the company from data and also interview. Annual sales growth is based on the number of programmer and designer hired, where each employee can handle 5 to 15 projects per month. The number of hired employee equal the number of added projects each year. Also, here's the cost of AR. Optimistic case is 43%, base is 42.11%, and pessimistic is 40%. Here are the expenses with the prices each month for the expenses. Optimistic, base, pessimistic assumption. There are 3 assumptions which comes from employee structure, which is the number of employee will be hired in each assumptions, cost and expenses in each assumptions, and selling price. The first assumption is employee structure. When in optimistic case, you can see there are 5 workers, 1 in cloning manager, 1 in project manager, and 2 in AR programmer, 1 in 3D designer. Base case, 1 per division, and pessimistic case, 1 for cloning, 1 for project, and 1 for both AR and 3D designer. And the second project assumption is about the cost and expenses, where the optimistic is at 23 million, base is 19 million, pessimistic is 15 million. And the third projection assumption is selling price, which we take 100% revenue from the cost, which results in 46 million for optimistic case, 38 million for base case, and 30 million for pessimistic case. The cost of each scenario has equal difference, which is 4 million that comes from different number of hired employee, which is the employee salary. The projection assumption calculate the financial projection through optimistic case and pessimistic case of Interaxe. It requires 3 scenario, as I mentioned above, and it also plays each assumption plays in the number of hired employee. Here are the cash flow projection. In this section, the researcher provide data related to the initial investment of the company. The initial investment is fully financed by paid-in capital from the founders. And here's the table. Second, we're going to talk about capital budgeting, where there are risk-free rate that we obtain from Bank Indonesia 7-day reverse repo rate. The beta is from Paragon Innovation and Technology as the benchmark company who releases the AR, and market return is 2.06%, which result to cost of equity of 2.49%. And here's the capital budgeting. The capital budgeting is calculated by using the index from risk-free rate, beta, and market return in the previous slide, which generate the percentage of cost of equity. Here is the capital budgeting analysis results from the number of cost of equity and projections. We can see that the payback period, all case, is accepted because the projected number is 5 years, and all of the payback period is less than 5 years, which is 0.9 years for optimistic case, 1.1 years for base case, and 1.3 years for pessimistic case. And for the net present value, it must be more than 0, and all of the assumptions are accepted, as you can see in the table. And for the internal rate of return, it must be more than the weighted average of cost of capital, which is 2.49%, and it's all acceptable. Fourth section, we're going to talk about the discussion, implementation plan, and resource required based on the calculation we have conducted in the previous slide. The implementation plan is for each division, finance, marketing, operation, and HR, adjusting with the result of calculation in the previous slide. First is for the finance division. Second is for the marketing division with the frequent time. Third is for the operation. And fourth is for the HR. Here are the resource required, main resource required. We will list, and this The researcher will list and describe the most crucial resources required to carry out the implementation plan strategy. There are 3 resources required: human resource, finance resource, and technology resource. As this business mainly needed these 3 resources in feasible analysis and in running this business in the future. For the human resource, the human resource will assess company's future existence and manage the business to run steadily. To manage the human resource, we must deliver plans for the employees' jobs and work close to gain their understanding about the company and increase their productivity. And for the financial resource, in realizing the plan with Interaxe, financial resources are essential to continue running the business. Because of our limited external fundings and financial capital, the company continued to manage taking paid-in capital from the founders to still maintain the development of the company. And the third is technology resource, where our main product is the AR. Therefore, we need to maintain the virtual target technology for AR. And here's the conclusion. Interaxe is calculated the cost of capital to determine the payback period, NPV, and ERR. The cost of capital itself calculated by applying the cost of equity due to no debt in fulfilling the company's initial investment. Therefore, the cost of capital is 2.49%. From the initial investment of 1.90 billion, we can possibly generate the payback period, NPV, and ERR for 3 scenarios: optimistic case, base case, and pessimistic case. The optimistic case calculation results a payback period in 0.9 years, NPV of nearly 8 billion, and ERR of 140%. The base case calculation results in payback period of 1.1 years, NPV of 5 billion, and ERR 112%. Lastly, the pessimistic case results in payback period of 1.3 years, NPV of 2 billion, and ERR 80%. And for the business implication, the financial calculation of Interaxe plan is to hire needed team members and examine AI prototypes for potential clients. It's conducted in the paper. It requires 3 scenarios. All the scenarios are determined to minimize the upcoming risk for the company in the future. For instance, unpredictable market condition or response, problems in the operation process, or obstacles in developing team members. The result of this research could be employed for further examination of Interaxe financial division, strategies of other aspects, including research of the market, development of the AR, and more numbers of needed employees will be required and conducted in further research. Thank you for your attention. Have a good day.